totally agree. Sit on a porch for half an hour.
Okay, I call this regular meeting of the Nepean City Council to order on Monday, September 28th, 2020 at 6:00 p.m. Can we get a roll call, please?
Hanson.
Here.
Jason Sampson.
Here.
Dane Nielsen.
Here.
Sandy Eric,
Here.
Luke Spence,
Here.
Barb Mittman,
Here. First item is approval of the agenda. Oh, and I will point out that it's being streamed online to comply with public meeting rules with COVID in case folks aren't able to make it in here. So we'll continue on with approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Dean, Jason, any discussion? Seeing none, council please vote. That is approved. Takes us into public hearing for the state revolving fund SRF loan application for the wastewater treatment facility review and environmental assessment. So we will go ahead and open the public hearing. Karen, did we receive any comment? Okay, then seeing none, we will go ahead and close the public hearing. And move into consent agenda. Any item may be removed for separate consideration.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Brian and Dane, discussion. Seeing none, council please vote. Is approved. Takes us into the public forum, which is time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action may be taken. There's a proclamation in there for Watershed Awareness Month, which you have a copy of. I won't bother reading it. If you like another copy, I know Marlis will post it as well once it's scanned. So other than that, looks like nobody else is here to speak in the public forum, so we will go ahead and close the public forum and move into old business, starting with ordinance number 1013, 2020-2021, an ordinance adopting the urban revitalization plan, second reading.
second,
Okay, Luke and Sandy, discussion. Seeing none, council please vote.
I can't hear you.
No one had requested on the
I can read lips.
Okay, that is approved. It takes us to item B, resolution number 26, 2020-2021, a resolution finally adopting the plan amendment for the Nevada urban revitalization area.
move to approve.
Second.
Barb and Dane, any discussion? Seeing none, council please vote. Okay, that is approved. Takes us to item C, ordinance number 1014, 2020-2021, an ordinance amending original ordinance designating an area of Nevada, Iowa as the Nevada Urban Revitalization Area, first reading.
Move to approve.
Second,
Brian, and I think that was Sandy. Okay, Brian and Sandy. Discussion. And then Karen, maybe, I don't know if they have questions on background of what's being amended or the process, but does anybody want clarification there?
What the amendment is, it's the original urban revitalization plan from 92. Is it just including the South Glen area? That's what it's doing, adding that area.
What's the reason for the note on waiving the third reading? The reason for
I
that?
think they're trying to stay timing wise with the development agreement and stuff. We're trying to get everything done before.
Is it going to be held up if we don't? Will it be held up at all if we don't waive a reading?
It might be a little bit, a meeting or two. Totally up to you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have the motion for the first reading. Is there any discussion about that aspect? Okay, seeing none, council please vote. is carried. Takes us into the subpoint that Luke was discussing about the request to waive the subsequent readings and pass it tonight. If any other staff has had discussion with the developer to understand their timeline. Obviously, this one has been around for 5 years. Is that close? Feels like it.
Who's requesting that we waive the other two?
This came from the attorney, the language. So
Our attorney?
it's just that we follow it if you desire to.
Well, somebody had the,
Pardon?
had the urge to waive the other two. I'm just curious where this is coming from.
That's my only, because I didn't ask them to do this, that was just their standard.
developer,
They're working on the
pretty much.
other pieces of it as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was curious too, because from Dorsey, they said they prepared this under the presumption that the council waived the statutory requirement. So I know, obviously, moving this project along is important, but was there another timing piece that came from?
There's really no benefit to prolong this because we're amending an area that is already, we're including an area that wasn't there before. So it's beneficial to the landowners, the developers to get it done faster. That way they can move along with their project.
Are you saying the project's at a standstill because we haven't done this?
I am not saying that. No, I'm saying it just, if their other pieces end up working to their favor, then
Was there a reason that this wasn't on our agenda a meeting or two ago so we could be completing this with the full 3 readings instead of skipping them? That was our fault?
Can't answer that.
yeah, I can't answer that either. We literally just got it on Friday.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I'd prefer to keep it on the same schedule we do for everything else then.
At least wait one more meeting, I would say.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with waiving it, but I kind of want to know why.
We normally do 3 readings, right?
Yes.
I'd be okay with waiving the 3rd if we can hear anything more about it by the next meeting.
I'm good with
Yeah,
it.
I mean, if there's a timeline that they're up against, that we need to waive them. You know, we've waived second, third readings multiple times in the past on different things, but we've kind of had a little more information, I think.
The specific
I think
for
if-
us would be good.
Yeah, because if we could help them move along, I think with the whole water thing, that's kind of held this thing up for a long, long time. If we can help them push it up a little bit, but I don't know that it's just a generic letter without a little more explanation of, hey, we're going to miss something if you guys don't help us out. I mean, we haven't had really anybody other than the initial meeting, some of the people asking about their backyards. But I think I'm with everyone else. Maybe,
If it was that important, they
Maybe-
might be here tonight to give us a reason.
yeah, I'll give us one more reading, like you said, to understand a little bit more why they're doing it. And then maybe we can waive the 3rd reading.
We are setting a public hearing tonight for the development agreement, and my guess would be that they want the ordinance approved before we approve the development agreement.
But we could do that the same meeting though, right?
What the timeline was for the development agreement and if that mattered.
But I'm saying we could do them both the next meeting, right? We could waive the 3rd reading earlier and then after that agenda item.
Published before it's official, I don't know if that would,
Yeah, I don't know, Aaron, can we do them both the same meeting or do we have to let the ordinance set for a meeting before we can approve the?
You could do them both at the same meeting, but to Karen's point, the ordinance isn't official until it's published. It's not on the date that it's passed, it's the date it's published. So there's going to be a window.
What date will we be using for that resolution at the end of the agenda? What date will we be looking at the meeting?
the October 12th.
Right away around October 12th, okay.
Yeah, that's what the,
Okay, so, but
was for October 12th.
we're still on the second, we just approved the second reading of item 7A. So we still have a third reading for them as well. I'm missing something, I could tell by the look on Brett's face. What, so there's not going to be a third reading for that one until the next time we're together. They're still not in sync.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'd get in the cart ahead of the horse if we waive the readings on something that's getting added to something that we haven't done the third reading on. We would have had to waive ordinance 1013's third reading too to make it work out like they want. Am I correct right there?
I think so.
Yep. So just we'll let it sit. We approve the third reading next meeting. If we get the information we want, we could waive the third reading, then she could post them all at the same time. And then we could do the agreement, so to speak.
And 1013 is mid-states.
Pardon?
1013 goes with mid-states.
I'm looking at that.
Just making sure, because I get the legal description of the property, so I want to make sure, obviously I don't know where that is, so I wanted to make sure 1013 is mid-states. Okay, so it sounds like there's no desire for a motion on waiving the requirement at this meeting. So we will move on to item D, resolution number 27, 2020, 2021, resolution to approve final plat for 6th Street Industrial Park, first edition.
Second.
Luke and Kenny. Discussion? Okay, seeing none, council please vote. Okay, that passes. Takes us to item E, approve change order number 2 for the Central Business District Infrastructure Project from Construct Inc. in the amount of $8,916.60.
Move to approve.
Second.
Dane and Jason? Okay. Discussion. Other than Larry jinxing us, he had a change order.
Yep. Thanks, Larry.
I have to tell you, as I was telling him before, one of those is to do an open cut to cap a water main for like $6,000. Otherwise, we'd be putting an insertion valve in for $13,000. So this is actually a decrease overall.
Awesome.
Just want to clarify.
I told you to knock on wood last time. I told you to knock on wood last time and you never did.
That's true, he never did. Okay. Any other discussion? And council, please vote. How about?
It's
Either.
no light. I got no light. Aye.
3 and,
I don't have a light at all.
yeah.
I can't do
I think
anything.
he just hit it wrong.
Yeah.
So Barb and Sandy,
I'm aye. I'm,
and at large 1, Dane.
I'm an aye. Yes. Approved. All that.
That carries, which takes into everybody's favorite item, item F, opening of public facilities. Does anybody have anything for this week?
I'm okay with them remaining the way they are. I think we kind of have an opportunity now with a little bit, I don't want to say a lull, but the second wave that we've been hearing about since probably April is on the horizon, I think. So we have a bit of an opportunity in the next month or so to maybe develop a game plan with either metrics or some type of game plan of what we want to do this winter. So I don't know that we want to do that now, but I think in the next month, maybe be a good idea to try to come up with some type of plan that businesses and citizens can expect and work and see as our plan for the coming months. so that we don't throw any surprises at anybody. More of a thought than a motion or anything like that, but I think sometime in October, if we could come up with something like that, it'd be a good idea.
Gordon, did you get any kind of response from county?
The county's, their admin building is opening next Monday. And as far as the library, they're going to continue with their phased approach, and they're going to be looking at a 14-day trend. And depending on the amounts, that's when they're planning on opening up completely, is if they see the right amounts decrease. I don't know what that number looks like on their end. That is something Shannon would need to clarify, but those are the two things, yeah.
Jordan, is the administration building opening like the regular hours, or are they doing partial?
I do not know the answer to that. When she was on the call, she just said that they're going to be opening next week.
So we still don't know what matrix they're using to make a decision at the county level.
They were using the same 14-day caseload or testing trends.
Positivity.
I don't know if positive, yeah, for 14 days in the beginning. I don't know if they were doing that still though now. I guess you already said that, Jordan, but.
Okay. Last call.
I mean, I know we just voted on this 2 weeks ago. The only thing that has changed is that the cases have come way down, so I don't know if that has changed the mood of the room or not, but I'm not going to keep making the same resolution and losing or say the same motion and losing 4-2, but I mean, we've definitely come down a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Is there any way we could have, like, if we want county-specific numbers or state-specific numbers, maybe added into the packet? It's just something that came to my mind, and we're well into the game, but some data that we could get. Because it's tough to find county-specific numbers. You can find state-specific pretty easily, but county-specific is a little tougher to find more accurately.
Does that website you use, Jason, does it have county on it?
Yeah.
Does it?
I don't
Oh,
really
you
look
did
at
a
it.
second where we're at for 14 days.
Statewide,
8.9.
8.1% in Story County for the last 14 days.
positivity rate.
Yeah, which is, I think we were at
20s.
10
mid-20s.
something the last time we met, so.
Case-wise, statewide, which is easier to find, it spiked, obviously, when school started, but it's come back down to a higher plateau than what it was before the spike. But that's statewide, that's not county.
Yeah. Yeah, we're at 8.1%.
Yeah, the
in
county
news
metrics
last-
are out there. It's the local ones that are hard.
Right.
Right.
In the news last night, I saw that hospitalization rates are actually the highest that they've been since May, which isn't to say the hospitals are full, they're just more full than they've been since May.
Right.
Just probably a more important metric. Well, again, statewide, not local.
Right. I'm still in the same spot I was last time. I think we're okay to open up. We're, as we've said many, many times, we're about as good as you can get as far as separating yourself from the general public out there in that area, so I don't see why we can't open it, but.
And I think we've seen that the most recent action by the governor has to close the bars, which, you know, regardless of if we agree if it's fair that the Ames bars and Nevada bars got affected the same way, because I've got issues with that. But regardless, I think after that move was made, we've seen the cases come down, and that's where the cases were coming from in the first place. And for me, it continues to be, where is the place that people are going to be getting it? You know, like you said, we're well constructed to be able to deal with this, and I don't foresee this being a huge risk for people, as if they're required to wear a mask and they're required to distance.
I had about 50 kid sitting behind me this afternoon. So we do it every day, morning and afternoon. I don't see why we can't allow 2, 3, 4 people in our lobby.
Because there's no question in town, if you're gonna get it, the kids are gonna get it. There's a lot more concentration that, and I think the school, I think they've come down, haven't they?
Oh, God,
Yeah, because weren't we like 18% or something just for like a few short days, and then now we're down, are we 10% at school right now? Are we that much even? Do you know?
Oh, no, we haven't even been 18%.
Oh, I thought we were
never
at first.
18%.
When we had those 30-some kids go at once, I thought that jumped us up. But yeah, I mean, we're full contact at the school. I mean, I think we're gonna get it from our kids before we're gonna get it from paying our water bill. So, 8%, is it ever gonna get any better than 8%? Really?
Well, back to Luke's point of, it would make more sense to me if we do have some facts, like what are we basing it on? Because we've talked about it so much, so that's good enough, or, we need, it seems like we need some sort of criteria, like, because the economy opened up, or, whatever it might be, that we're gonna base our decision on, not just because we've kicked it around so much. And I'm still of the mindset, like, are people really clamoring to get in here? That's what I wonder, like, is it a big deal for the public? I guess I haven't had anybody talk to me about how come City Hall's not open 24/7. So, I don't know. I mean, that's who we're really after, is who are the customers that we're denying access?
Yeah, in my opinion, hasn't changed. I think we have a chance to get ahead of it now before any second wave would hit. So I don't see a reason to open things up. I think in the next month, we need to be thinking about preventative measures that we can take beyond just this building if we want to go down that road. I think it'd be smart for us to do that with metrics like Sandy just said, and I think Barb said at the last meeting for something like that. But so we have, I think, a month or so to think about it and come up with a game plan that we can stand by and publish so that everybody's on the same page.
For me, I like metrics for lots of things. However, I think the risk in this lobby is so negligible, I don't see what that gets us. Like whether it's 8% or 20% out there for positivity rate, I don't think it changes the risk level in this lobby when you have a couple people surrounded by plexiglass, plenty of space, it's not crowded. I mean, you have far more risk getting gas at Casey's or going to Fairway or whatever else you're doing in your daily life. I mean, the risk in here is so minimal.
Well, that's why I'm discussing more just outside the lobby. I'm talking about, do we want to work to have a mask mandate? Do we want to limit sizes of groups on public property again or close the parks or something like that? I think we need to go back to looking at those things again. And that would come more with a metric than talking about the lobby, I think. And I'm not proposing anything tonight. I'm just saying we need to start having this discussion since, like I said, we have an opportunity to get ahead of it now and prepare.
Anything else? And then we'll close that item, move to item G, discussion appropriate follow-up on 30-day review of previous resolution number 47C revised 2020-2021, a resolution taking appropriate emergency measures during the COVID-19 pandemic. Does anybody have any changes they would like to see to that?
Nothing that I didn't already just say. Maybe, I don't know if we want to, how often have we been revisiting this one?
Every 30 days,
30 days.
once a month.
Will that be the second meeting of October that it would be coming up again?
Okay. Then we will go on and close that item, move to new business A, Resolution number 28, 2020, 2021, a resolution to fix a date of meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with South Glen LLC, including annual appropriation tax increment payments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Barb and Luke, discussion. Okay, seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, that is approved. Takes us to item B, resolution number 29, 2020, 2021, a resolution setting a date of meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Mid-States Material Handling and Fabrication Incorporated, including annual appropriation tax increment payments.
Move to approve.
Second?
Brian and Sandy, discussion. Seeing none, council, please vote.
Vote again.
Okay. Council, vote again. That is approved. Takes us to item C, resolution number 30, 2020, 2021, resolution to fix a date of meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with On Track Construction LLC, including annual appropriation tax increment payments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Dean, Luke, discussion. Seeing none, council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to item D, resolution number 31, 2020, 2021, a resolution to amend resolution number 18, 2020, 2021, authorizing the request for reimbursement of eligible COVID-19 related expenses from the state of Iowa.
Move to approve.
Second.
Barb and Luke. Okay, seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, that is approved. It takes us into reports, starting with Jordan.
Nothing unless you guys have any questions about my report that was sent to you.
Anything for Jordan?
I didn't find anything about Moe's Mart.
I did not know. In fact, when I was in the other community, I noticed that their Moe's Mart or gas station is owned by the same company, and they're not open either. That was,
Both of them, Moe's Mart? Okay, that I think is true because they're selling different brands of,
yeah, same owner, yep.
we put them on a timeline?
I thought they were on a year timeline, but I don't know how that works with the DNR and the gas or whoever determines that.
Aaron, is there something as a city that we can do to maybe put our foot on the gas a little bit on this? I mean, it's an eyesore. I just soon condemn them.
Yeah.
It was my opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
it
sure
looks
if
as
that's
bad
an
as it
issue,
looks
but-
horrible in our neighborhood.
yeah, it's horrible. It makes our Lincoln Way look like, well, Jordan and I talked about it earlier in the week or last week. I mean, do we have any recourse to do anything to make them clean it up, move along?
Yeah, so what is the issue?
It's just abandoned gas
It looks like,
stations.
Oh,
And so
There's milk in there if you want
put
it.
new pumps, they put new pumps in and new signs, and then everything came to screeching halt. And that's,
How do we pick and choose since Dairy Queen's been empty for years and then we
Yeah.
decide
I throw
to,
them on the same one, Luke. You just put words right in my mouth.
yeah.
They're right on board with them. I think Jordan
Yeah,
actually
but-
talked to The difference is I think Dairy Queen's actually talked to Jordan. I don't know, I think you can fill us on that maybe, but the other two were non-existent and. I mean,
They just became non-existent in the last year where Dairy Queen's been empty for a decade, so.
I'm not picking and choosing now. I'm ready to go after, at all of them. It's
Can we send them a letter and ask them what their plans are for?
Well, have they even applied for either a tobacco or a liquor license yet? They're not going to make any money until they apply for those licenses.
They still have the old one, right?
Shouldn't. They haven't renewed.
No, they do not have any
They do not renew.
licenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do not have any licenses. And I have been in contact with the DQ owner, and he's aware of, it being an eyesore. And I kind of talked to him about what his future plans were, and he's kind of told me that he would like to get rid of it, but there's still the matter of the tanks underneath and the contamination that is an issue with that. And that is why people do not want to buy it, is because it's a contaminated site. They have drilled holes. A company out of, I want to say Oregon, has drilled holes, and they tested on every 6 months, and it actually takes about 6 months to get the results back from those tests. So he is waiting to get those back from him. He told me to give him an email that way, send him an email, which I am going to do, and he will give me the contact information for the company that is doing those testings for that site. But I believe he said it's been there for 2 years, and I think there's a 3-year window for that contamination to dissolve, to evaporate, I guess, into the air. And that's the purpose of them drilling into the concrete.
Does the nuisance abatement program give us any type of opportunity to put some fines out that we?
Anytime we write a nuisance for the DQ, he comes and he cleans it up right away, whatever the issues are. With the White Oak stations, we've sent them nuisances, and I believe it's our guys that always goes and mows it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, our staff is the one that goes and cleans those properties up, but we do send them nuisances on a regular basis.
They've been paying the bill when we send it to them for that?
They don't pay it, it just goes right to their taxes.
So when we did the green space out here, I don't know if anyone else was on, were any of you guys other than Brett and I on the council at the time? I don't remember. I don't think so. Were you? No? It was dirty. I don't know if you guys remember that. We went to clean it up because it used to be a gas station. It was dirty, so we had to clean it. Maybe we need to look at doing something, just telling the guy, Dairy Queen, just give it to the city and let's clean it up. We cleaned it up once. I mean, that's what it's going to take. And he's not going to spend the money to do it. He's not.
He's not going to give it to the city yet. I've already asked him that. I asked him that on Friday. He said, if you would have asked me that 6 years ago, I would have been more than happy to give the city it. But he wants to figure out what is going on with the testing, and he wants to figure that out first before he decides on whether or not he gives it to the city. But that was something I brought up to him on Monday, and he wasn't opposed to that idea. So depending on what this company states, what they say the testing is, if it turns out that there's still a lot of contamination, chances are he would be more willing to give it to the city because he doesn't want to pay for all that to get done, because he has paid a little bit for that. So it has been a discussion item, and Sean's also reached out to him previous to what I talked to him about on Friday with all those other matters as well.
And for residential, I know if there's not activity such as mowing the grass for so long, you have options to send letters for condemnation and abandonment. I don't know with commercial, what your options are, but if they're mowing it and they're not doing that.
If you can show abandonment under 657A of the code, there's things you can do, but if they're paying taxes and they're following through with all of your nuisance letters and all of that, it's difficult to show that they've abandoned the property.
Hey, Aaron, what about not paying any electric bills or no hookups? Isn't that
That's
included
one
in
prong. So there's a list of 10 different things that you have to show in order to show that something's been abandoned, and that's one prong of 10.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not familiar with the property,
probably don't
but
have all 10.
we can sure look at it. What's that?
They probably don't have all 10. They probably have like,
Right, and you don't have to have all 10, it's just a balance of the equities, and anytime you're taking someone's property, though, it's a difficult fight.
no. I wouldn't expect that it would get to that point, but that might at least show them that they can't sit on it forever.
Yeah.
Well, and I think,
I'm pretty sure as soon as they realize that we were even making a motion down that path, we probably start seeing action.
I don't know if that will happen because they have other locations that are out of business and they've just been sitting there as well. Jefferson is one community that
Yeah.
has a White Oak gas station that's not open, hasn't been. So I don't know if that would do, honestly, probably taking it off their hands would probably make it easier on them.
benefit for them, because we
Yeah.
take all the responsibility.
Think of the liability of those tanks.
Exactly.
Everything else. So that's why we've been kind of reluctant to push that. We always can, if you guys would like.
because Second Street's pretty new. The one by Big 8 Tire, they put tanks in there when
They
Commodore
were
owned it.
relatively new because they found some leaks
Yeah.
on the old.
Didn't they do some digging at the 8th Street Comago too, Sean, at one point when Comago still owned it? I thought they had those west of the building dug up too. Or was that just to fix something, maybe, not to replace them? I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
One having a gas leak problem, the other one to do with contaminated dirt. And for like, Minsky's, the dirt was contaminated, we had to take it, out of the way they just left it out on the ground for a while and then put the air out
Yeah.
and then they put it back, but there were no tanks there.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3 loads of dirt.
I remember it was a little dirty.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's some residential properties in town that we need to look at pretty hard too, so I think we need to probably start pursuing this a little bit more instead of waiting another year, waiting another 2 years. Erin can get us the info. Sounds like it's pretty available. She quoted the number, so.
Well, it's just,
I mean,
that's one type of action.
Right, but if it's.
You always start with nuisance abatement.
Yeah, but if it's something that they think you're gonna, even if we don't plan on doing it, maybe we have to be a bully a little bit, because I think it's ridiculous, some of these properties in town, and it really burns me, and Jordan will tell you that, because we talked last week about it, that, we go to so much trouble to make our Main Street look good, and Lincoln Way, Lincoln Highway, and then you drive down Lincoln Way right now, it's every other block is a mess, it's embarrassing almost to drive down Lincoln Way right now. So, don't get me wrong, I was all against see, I can't even think of the word, but, when we built this place, we didn't condemn Minsky's, we gave him a shot. We did a property right where we're sitting because we've been mowing it for 2 years and taking care of it. Remember, Tim, Sean, that little white house that used to sit right here? How many years did we take care of that yard? Because they never did it. It was quite a while.
It was quite a while, yeah. That's the problem, is like Aaron said, in the past, we have torn down houses before. I just want to say that it's not, whatever, it's not laziness, it's a form letter. I could write 10 of them in 5 minutes.
No, I'm not saying we're being lazy, Sean. Don't get me wrong. That's what
I'm not trying to
No.
be like that. I can write 5 of them in 10 minutes and go out and take a bunch of pictures and we could go, but it's to go and do it. And if I write that letter, we're gonna go to court, we're gonna finish what we started on that. I don't think you should just write letters like that to do it. It's probably $5,000 with court costs and everything else. So it's not just, and that's not in my budget. So it's not just like, it's pretty easy to do. When you fire that off, and in the past, we have found that if someone is mowing the lawn and someone is paying the taxes and they're shoveling the walk, then generally the courts are gonna find them, in our experience, they're gonna favor the property. Because, when they come to court and say, listen, I'm paying taxes, this guy sends me a letter to mow the lawn, I go out there and mow the lawn, I take care of it, that's compliance. So it's not that I don't have the similar frustrations, it's just that, there's a certain level that we have to meet.
Yeah.
And everybody, and some of those people who own those houses know what it is, because if you don't pay the taxes, and if you end up mowing the lawn and shoveling the walk and doing stuff, then that house is going down. I mean, that's just a matter of time because we built a court case to go through it. One of the things Matt always brought up is you have to build a case for it, but the problem is, like I said, if I write a letter that says mow the lawn and somebody doesn't, then they're just being compliant. That's not a bad thing against them. That's actually showing that they're being compliant with the code. So I understand the frustration, and like I said, you know, we'll definitely do more of them, but if that's what, you know, we're directed to do, but it's just, you know, it's just hard to get them there, and if you know you're probably gonna lose and you're wasting, you know, probably 3 or 4 days of my time, you know, getting the case together, going to court, and then about $5,000 to go out to the house, just so you can say you did it, I guess. I don't.
Well, I don't know that we should go to say we did it, but I also think there's probably some properties that qualify.
So,
I don't know, but I think we need to.
so what we are doing with the current property in town is we're going by 657A. We're doing no nuisances. I also got Ray involved to deem it as a fire hazard. So there's multiple routes that we can take for this. We just have to figure out the right route for each house, because some houses are worse than others. Some aren't a nuisance, and there might be things on the property that is a nuisance, but that doesn't necessarily qualify them as a nuisance. So, but yeah, Sean did just recently give me a list of dilapidated properties that we're gonna look at, and I will get Ray involved as well, because as the fire chief, it makes a big difference if a house is a hazard or not.
If we can show health and safety issues for people that are living in the properties, that is a much stronger case. In the cases of, you know, well, we've had, I mean, some people's weeds or other people's flowers. I mean, we've had complaints like that in the past, and you're not going to win those. So it's good. To Jordan's point, it's going to be house by house, property by property specific, and it just takes time to work through those.
It'd be a long slog. And one thing I was hearing is maybe the budget committee should consider if there should be more funds in that nuisance.
Well, it seems like it is a big priority. So
And it has
I
been.
think we would want to support that.
It was something the council was looking for back even when Matt was hired, and that's what he presented on. So it's definitely been on
Even if you
everybody's
start
radar.
pursuing it with one property owner to a higher level than just making sure they mow their yard, that word might spread, and maybe some others will.
That's what I was gonna bring up too, that, you know, if we actually hold somebody's feet a little closer to the fire,
Right.
word will get out that, hey, they're not messing around anymore, you know, they're gonna.
Well, I'd say if everything goes through with this current property that we're working on, that we get a sign, we stick a sign in the middle of the yard saying this house is now in possession of the city and is scheduled to be demolished or something. That way
Oh, absolutely.
people know that, you know, we're not just picking on you.
Because if we do that, I mean, if we end up, I can't remember, I think you might have mentioned it before, that, you know, it'll pay for, I mean, you know, like Sean said, it might be $5,000, but if we condemn it and clean it up and turn around and sell it to a developer that makes a nice house out of it or something, the city could take that money, put it into the fund to continue to do that sort of thing, you know, and if that happens to be a property for a Habitat for Humanity house or something that's affordable, you know, that's a win for the city. You know, that's a win for everybody, you know, so sounds like you guys are on it a little bit more. It's really been eating at me the last few months, so. But I know our guys, we do a pretty good job. Sean always says, yeah, I'm on it. And he is, you know, then I see it mowed a couple of weeks later, so. Yeah,
Probably one of the biggest things I hear about and the hardest thing to fix.
yeah, absolutely.
True everywhere.
Yep. Okay, I'm done. I won't say any more about it, Jason.
Anything else for Jordan?
No.
I don't have a whole lot. It's encouraging to see a bunch of development agreements all moving with our businesses and residential expanding. That's always a promising thing for any community, especially during COVID. Otherwise, and I don't want to steal Marlis's thunder, so Marlis, if you want to come in here and talk about the website RFP, we got, I think, 6 responses back. The committee met last week. There were 2 that were most intrigued to learn more, so we'll be doing follow-up meetings with those two groups. So hopefully you'll see something in front of you with a proposal for a new website. Any questions for me? Council reports.
I jumped ahead already, so I'm done.
And I guess one thing I could add is Main Street has the 1-year anniversary ribbon cutting. Well, it's their 1-year anniversary. They also want to do ribbon cutting to celebrate 6th Street reopening, and then they're going to do a coffee with Jordan out front. So on Saturday. So with that, are most of you planning to be around, or show of hands?
I'm gonna try.
So maybe we'll have Karen just put something out just in case the council may be in attendance. Okay.
It starts at 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30 is the ribbon cutting piece, and the coffee's at 9.
Coffee with the candidate will be going on at Farm Grounds at 9 as well, so you can double dip with me.
Okay, any other council reports?
This Sunday is the Run Country 5K, Billy Sunday. Well, the 5K, it's going to be almost exclusively on the trail except for about one city block. And I know Rick is very happy about that. Working with Tim to get things set up for Billy Sunday, but I think it's going to be a really cool event. If you don't want to come for the actual 5K and you just want to come enjoy the music, it'll be at, the music will start about 2:15 on Sunday. So, and it'll be on Billy Sunday Field, so you'll have all the room in the world to spread out.
Anything else? Okay, and we'll go back to Ray. And we'll probably have everybody step over to the mics just so make sure everyone can hear online.
I don't have a whole lot other than with progress comes change for the fire department. I've been working real closely with Sean and Jeremy and Jordan and my boss, Rick, regarding the new hydrants. They're actually a 5-inch stores connection. We carry 4-inch hose. So we have some adapters in the interim to make that work. But as luck would have it, we were doing our hose testing, our annual hose testing, and lost about 600 foot of LDH, the large hose, because it's 15 years old. So in our budget process, we will be looking at a capital improvement plan to increase switch over to the 5-inch hose. So the timing seemed to kind of all come in line together. So not by choice, but I think the hydrants are really nice. One of the things we found out that a 4-inch stores hydrant is a special order and it costs a lot more money. So the fact that we can make this switch and stay with a universal standard hydrant will save those that are developing in our community some money as well. So I think that was kind of a hidden gem in all of this. Our new UHP truck is in. We're in the process of switching out the back end of it. We hope to have that in service as we get radios and stuff in it. So that process is going. And then I thought I'd bring up an opportunity that I have an opportunity to tour the Tesla plant in Reno and Panasonic plant and the roadway Redwood plant. They recycle batteries. As part of my duties on the International Association of Fire Chiefs, but there are 11 fire chiefs in the country getting this opportunity. And so I think the advantage for us is to learn about new technology that's clearly going to be a part of our future. We're talking emergency battery storage systems. You'll see battery storage in houses. So like instead of a generator, you'll have a battery pack that powers your house. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Tesla regarding solar panels that produce energy and a lot of green energy stuff. And so it's kind of a neat opportunity that the IAFC is funding. But I was certainly thrilled to be picked to do that. But I hope to bring back a lot of good information about green energy as it fits in our community. So that's all I have.
You ready? Go to Jeremy.
I don't have anything else, but I'd love to answer some questions. Seeing none,
Food at the picnic, food was delicious.
thanks. For those of you who didn't come, you missed out.
How's it working? Did you deliver my regards to our staff? I did mention to him that some of our council members were unable to make it due to prior engagements.
Jason ate twice.
I did.
He got mine. He ate twice. I told him to get my meal.
That's it.
I was on vacation, but staff, I appreciate you.
John?
P&Z will be meeting on Monday. We will be looking at a new floodplain ordinance. It's the EPA, FEMA is requiring the DNR to require the cities in Iowa to adopt a new floodplain ordinance and floodplain maps. So we're going through that process. Council has to approve them by, I believe it was January 25th, but we'll be well ahead of that with P&Z will be scheduled a public hearing. We'll be holding a public hearing for that and then pushing it on to council. We'll also be looking at the final plats for the West F subdivision and the South Glen subdivision. And then we'll be kicking that on to you. So we're looking through all those legals and all the other things that go with that. As far as the downtown project, we are hoping to open the block between J and K here. Hoping the painter will come tomorrow. 80% sure tomorrow, 100% sure by Wednesday. They'll take a couple of days to clean it and paint it. Once that's done, we will open that. The brickies are out of that area, and we'll be working on the block between K and Lincoln Way. When they get that done, we'll be doing the same thing. So we are kind of looking at the end of that. We'll also have to close the block between I and J for a couple of days here. We're going to be working with the painter about when he wants to do that, so we can give out some notice. And then we'll open up that, and then all we got left is J Avenue, which we are making progress on. As far as like South Glen is sewer and water they're just starting to deliver the water, the mains and things like that. They just moved in some equipment, so I'm gonna guess they'll probably be working on the water here sometime by the end of the week. And they're cammering the sanitary sewer and storm sewer, both of which have passed all the tests they need to pass. So they'll hopefully be a couple of weeks, and they might start to look to have some paving done. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got. Anybody any questions?
Rashawn? Thanks, Sean. Tim?
If you've been down 19th Street, you see that Cooper was here and tore everything up and got it all reseeded. So hopefully we'll have a good couple of weeks of weather and we'll see that come in. The baseball field contractor, he's reseeded everything on the perimeter of the baseball field. We had a meeting out there this morning. We're starting to see some growth there. So hopefully we can put these two projects to bed and move on next spring without any issues. Staff is starting to spray city properties, so they'll wrap that up here in the next several weeks. And then about that time, another 3 or 4 weeks, we'll start to shut down parks. So as we get closer to winter. So that's kind of just a brief list of what we're doing. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Really made me sad to hear you say winter.
What's that?
So it made me sad to hear you say winter.
Oh, well, Karen probably really likes that. So, but anyway, that's what we got going. So
Tim, I've got a question for you. The lights at Squirrel Park, are those all supposed to be on at night or?
Parking lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a short somewhere. Jeremy's looking at it.
Okay, yeah, I had
So-
somebody ask me about that a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And I ran through there a couple days later. It's definitely dark.
Yep. So, no, we're working on it, so, but sometimes takes a while to
I
chase.
think a lot of them were out at on Fawcett too.
Yeah, Fawcett's really dark, but
I don't know about Foss Parkway.
Awesome. Right, so, Joe.
There you
have it.
Is that the technical term?
Professional opinion?
Right,
I have no idea.
Chairman has spoken.
Put up, and Elaine has used all the parts to fix them. There are more parts.
So does that mean the Lion's going to replace them for us?
We tried that.
Oh.
Mhm.
Tried that. Well, Rick.
Rick tried that.
Rick tried to strong arm me to replace them.
Idea.
That
was a lifetime ago. It's part of my life I'll never forget, sorry.
Can we finish the streetlight conversation? What about 9th and Lincoln Way? The one that hit the ground during, on August 10th?
Oh, yeah. Still laying there.
Still there. Alliance gonna get there to pick it up.
Okay, they're aware that it exists on the ground.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know what the process was for informing them.
They were aware that day, but.
Well, I know, yeah,
Couple of lines down.
okay.
But they haven't picked up.
That, me too, especially after I've been farther in eastern Iowa and Belle Plaine, everything's picked up. It's not all back to normal, but everything is picked up off the ground and stuff, so.
I thought it just continued the look of the white oak and the Dairy Queen. Look we're going for one. Rick?
Well, not long ago, I was so glad we're at full staff. Now, we're down a second officer, so we started the hiring process already. So hopefully we can get some people on board here pretty soon, but it takes a while. So we'll be down staff for at least 2 people for a while. So that's all I got unless you have any questions.
We're down 2 now. Do we hire 3?
If you give me the budget, I'll hire 3.
You know what, I think we have to seriously have a talk about that when we have our budget committee. Because I think, I don't know, I just think that how it goes, we've had this discussion multiple times that, I don't know, I just think maybe we should have a discussion about it.
Well, when Mike Tupper hired on, we were authorized 9, but he was only budgeted for 8. So then he got that taken care of. And then when Jeff Thulin was here, he did a lot of configurations and got the budget increased 1 more. And then when Matt was here, he got increased 1 more. So that's why we're at 11 now. The biggest issue is it's expensive to hire a police officer. I was talking to Sheriff Fitzgerald a while ago, and he says every time he gets somebody to go gets deployed, he goes to the Board of Supervisors to authorize hiring another person, thinking that by attrition we'll lose another person. Makes sense, but it's expensive, and I'd like to see that. Ideally, I've told all my previous administrators when they ask me how many people I want, and I said minimum 14, but that's not going to happen.
We're budgeted for 11 now, right?
We're budgeted for 11, and fortunately, you know, I have Ray who fills in on day shift from time to time, and he's going to have to step up a little more. He's more than willing to do that, but I shouldn't have to count on that. You know, he saves his overtime because I don't have to schedule somebody to do that, but it's got to be filled. And our calls for service volume has not changed any. It's actually going up a little bit, but the need is still there.
So when you say it's expensive, are you talking about the process, not necessarily taking the salary out of it? You're talking about the process is expensive? Or are you talking about the process plus the salary?
The entire thing. But see, we go through a hiring process at least probably average once a year. And
it's
that's
been more than that.
expensive in and of itself. But the position itself, I mean, right now, I think it's $48,000 just base salary, not counting benefits or anything else on top of that. And one of the reasons we're doing the salary study is because is that reasonable for a community our size and given our location? You know, when I can have officers go to Story City, make a lot more money, do a lot less work, and here we are. This is where we're at. And we've lost people to Story City lost them to Ames and every other place around here.
Madrid, no. Sorry.
Yes,
But
it's still. So anyway, that's what we face, and there's no easy solution. I've known cities that pay a ton of money to their people, and they don't have turnover. But then they have people that have no incentive to do anything, and then they have a department full of slugs, and we don't want that. And I'd rather have someone leave our agency to improve themselves in whatever fashion they feel is appropriate, because they keep that incentive. I mean, one officer, Adam Fischels, when we hired him, when we interviewed him, what's your goal to be in 5 years? You want to be a state trooper. Okay, well, Mike and I talked about that, and we felt that he's going to have to do a good job for us if he wants to be a trooper. Lo and behold, he was here 5 years, and he's a good officer for the state troopers now. And we have a lot of people that do that. A lot of people that I hear about that are doing a good job for their agencies. But that doesn't do us any good. We're still hiring people, so I don't know what the solution is, but I think any department head's going to be able to tell you the same thing. They could use more people, and yeah, I know public safety is critical. It's very important. And we spend a lot of money doing the initial backgrounds and trainings and hirings and getting them through the process before they're actually on the road. And I've told the council before, it's like I've told you, the guy that leaves today, it's 1 year before we have someone in place to take their place. 1 year. So I got guys that I get concerned are going to get burnt out. Making a lot of overtime is great, but when you don't have the time to spend with your family or do things, it takes away from them. So, and that's one of the reasons why we lose people.
okay.
Okay, anything else? Any other
Who did
questions?
we lose?
Adam Swanson. We hired him in December.
Yeah,
That's the shortest tenure I've ever had
Yeah.
since I've been here.
so is there when somebody leaves that soon, isn't there some kind of payback or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we generally get our money.
Yeah,
Not always, but generally.
and then when there is a vacancy and it takes a few months, I mean, the cost to hire somebody new, there's your, well, I guess it's not cost savings, we gotta pay overtime. Never mind. You gotta pay overtime, so that's,
Yeah.
so everybody else is back then, other than losing the one officer, we got everybody back full-time.
Well, Josie's still deployed. She won't be back till July. But everybody else is, I don't think we have any training this week, but we have some other things. We have a busy week in our department this week, but nobody's at training. Everybody's working the street, taking care of business. Anything else? Okay.
Marlis, do you have a report? She's watching. I don't know if she's gonna chime in. If you do, you can pop in here and we will go to Larry.
Well, Sean has already briefed you on anything that I've been working with him on subdivisions and the downtown project. But on behalf of Mike Roth, I'll tell you that he and Jordan have been working with Farbio to, they requested to dump $80,000, I think, or 80,000 gallons of water onto the city. I think it's treated water, but they treat the raw water before it's used in the process, and they've got 80,000 gallons of water to give to the city. It has a little higher strength of stuff in it than domestic waste, and working with DNR to see if there's a solution for the city to accept that water. So the other thing in regard to Mike is on the first phase of the wastewater treatment facility, which is the grading of the site. And that letting is coming up next week. And we'll be taking actions on the bids that will be received, I think, on either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So there's been a lot of interest in the grading project, and so we expect pretty good prices. During the process of receiving bids on that project, I've also found that there some fairly local contractors who are very interested in the wastewater treatment facility. Separated the grading of that on that project out to reduce some of the overall cost, to make it more decrease the amount of bonding that they have to come up with to bond for the wastewater treatment facility. So hopefully that works. There's interest out there, so hopefully at that project sometime next year we'll also get good bids on it. The only other thing I'd like to mention is that, as Sean told me today, on the W Avenue project, which is now in its second year of construction, and hopefully we'll get it done this year, only the seating is left, and I think, as Sean indicated, that they'll be seating that either tomorrow or Wednesday, which with this recent rain, it should be pretty good. Then that project's completely done. The adjacent property owners that had a couple complaints, those have been taken care of, and Sean has indicated that they're good with everything. So hopefully we can get that project put to rest. Other than that, if you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Larry? Karen?
I sent the budget worksheet. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it and see if the dates worked for you, or how you felt about having the budget workshop after a council meeting, or we used to have them opposite a council meeting on the Monday night. So whichever you guys want to do is fine, just so we know ahead of time we can plan. Equipment revolving went out to department heads last week, so it's officially started. We'll be doing the second round of COVID reimbursement through the state. That's due October 9th, so we'll start that process. And we're still working through with the auditor some items we're having.
Aaron? Aaron?
Nothing for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that takes us to the end of our business. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Dane and Jason, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.